So, as well as being away recently with a variety of illnesses and writing some of my thoughts, which have been appearing on my website on kitderrick.com, the sort of mini essays, which will probably come together into a book called Insignificance in the Future on a variety of subjects, which will no doubt annoy some people, but hopefully entertain and intrigue others. I've also been researching what I hope is going to be my next novel, which is a bit of a change for me. It's going to be a historical novel set in the 4th century of the UK, around the time that the Roman Empire withdrew from the country. Pardon me. Originally, I was drawn, I have been for about 20 years, to the idea of writing an Arthurian novel, but finding more about the history of the period, which, despite being known as the Dark Ages, actually does have a surprisingly large amount of sources and references to it in there. I found that the period 50 to 100 years before, when the historical Arthur would have lived, was actually far more fascinating. We had a variety of the kings of the north. We had the creation of some of the Welsh kingdoms of Powys and Dyfed. We had the withdrawal of the Romans. We had a Roman emperor who was proclaimed within Britain by British soldiers, even though he was a Spaniard. We have St. Patrick and the Christianity which is rolling across various parts of Britain and Ireland at the time. We have a hugely militarized zone. At the same time, we have settlers from Europe in the south. Prior to the apparent first settlements of the Anglo-Saxons, sort of 60, 70 years before, there were already settlements on the south coast. And the more I read about this, the more fascinated I became. And I decided that this was going to be the basis for my next novel, which as of yet has no title. So I've been, at the moment, researching the area around Dumfries and Galloway, just north of Hadrian's Wall, which was the home to one of the kingdoms of the Old North, the others surrounded at the time, and is forming the location for the prologue and probably the first 2 or 3 chapters of my book to introduce the different characters, be they Christian, Roman, Druid, Briton, Pict or Irish. So as you can probably tell, I'm a little bit inspired by this idea, and I'm looking forward to writing and also to researching the various annals at the moment from Greek and Irish and Welsh. Even though I can't read the original, it's going to have to be in translation, I'm afraid. There are quite a lot of very useful overlapping and interesting references, so I think I'll probably be writing or posting a fair few documentary and historical things to reveal details which I find fascinating but which won't fit into the book, but more of those perhaps in my next video. This is my update to where I'm up to at the moment. So we've just launched Hush, the latest novel, which hopefully you'd be interested in buying and reading, and then will love and recommend to all of your friends, and I'll become rich and famous, probably buy a house in the country. But I digress slightly. At the moment, I'm researching my next book, so that's going to be 4th century Britain and Scotland, so that should be intriguing. We'll see how that one develops.